Since you have worked for a long time with change of habits and positive transformations in that context, I want to ask you, what do you think is the most misunderstood thing about changing habits?
Such a good question. I think probably just the most widely misunderstood is that it's like we're doing the wrong things. The focus is almost always on behavior. If not behavior, even on thought. Even when people are a little more savvy, they might realize, okay, it's not about just doing differently. I have to think differently, but that's the same thing because we're not in charge of our thoughts either. They want to go out and change their behavior. And then they're like, okay, maybe I should go change my thoughts instead. But I honestly see that as exactly the same because we don't make this stuff happen. We don't produce it. We have no real ownership of it. So something like that, like I need to do something. Now, it kind of like we're saying, in a sense, that feeling coming through of like, this, I know there's a better way. I know something else is possible. That's amazing. Like, that's great. That's when someone has that, because now they're curious and they're open to being wrong about being wrong. But, like, saying, I don't know what I need. They're in a place where they're really poised to maybe see some new things. So that as a feeling is great, but it's the jumping into action, thinking we need to just do different behaviors or think different thoughts that kind of take us down the wrong path, I think.
Beautiful. That's great. How about, and I'm sure you hear this all the time, if let's say we're speaking about something chemical, let's say a tobacco addiction, nicotine addiction, or cannabis, or anything that releases a lot of serotonin. I'm sure a lot of people feel like they're at least partially continue to be in that trap because of that physical reasons. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, well, like we were talking about earlier, I mean, physical isn't separate from mental, emotional, spiritual, any of it. It's all one. So yes, that for sure the physical feeling might be stronger for someone when their brain is giving a physical dependency kind of vibe versus when it isn't. Maybe, but also maybe not. I don't know for sure. It's going to vary moment to moment. So, but either way, what it comes down to is like, it sounds so big as I say it sometimes, but like, can you just be with what's showing up? Can you see that you are bigger than any feeling? And I don't care if it's a heroin withdrawal or, an intrusive thought, it's still a feeling. We're still dealing with, can you feel this feeling? Can you see feeling for what it is? Can you lean into this? Can you see that you are not this, that you are bigger than this feeling, and we are designed to be able to feel anything that comes our way, anything. So that's not easy. It's very simple. It's not easy because everything in our psychology has said, no, 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 I do not want this feeling. So I'm not at all suggesting it's easy, but it is the equalizer. It is the equal playing field. It does show us that no matter what, it's the same thing. It's always coming back to, can you feel what's here? Can you lean into what's arising? Little by little, best you can. Not, can you sit out this urge and definitely don't do your habit? Maybe you do your habit, but can you lean into the feeling for 2 seconds? And maybe tomorrow it's 5 seconds. And then maybe a month from now, you're sitting through an urge. Who knows? But just starting where we are with being with what's showing up, that across the board, that's the only thing there ever is to do. And then the mind comes in, of course, and says, no, it's different for me. It's different for this habit. And I can tell you, I've heard every person with every background you can imagine, with every habit you can imagine, make a really solid, persuasive case for why theirs is different. Like people will say, well, no, anxiety's different. No, food things are different because you have to eat. No, smoking's different. Everyone will make a case for how they wish they had someone else's habit because it's easier for them. And everybody's making this case. So it cannot be the truth.